Hello, Special Needs Supermom, Nadine here, and welcome to another episode of the Special Needs Supermom Podcast. Today I want to talk about a heavy topic, depression. If you have a kid that has a chronic illness or is neurodiverse, there's a much higher chance that they're dealing with depression or that they get a depression. And excuse my language, but that sucks. But it's also really understandable. So in this podcast episode, and at the beginning of recording this, I'm not even quite sure if I want to make it into a series or we'll just talk all about it in this recording. I want to talk about why they have a higher chance on getting a depression, but also what you can do as a parent and what you shouldn't do as a parent. Here it goes. So depression and special needs kids. If you have a kid that has a chronic illness, that affects their being able to go to school, follow the career or their dreams they wanted, what affects their social life. That's huge. So teens at itself already have a higher chance on depression because hormones, and if you're going to perimenopause, you know what I talk about. Well, hopefully not, but it's kind of the same shitty deal. All the hormones racing to your body and you sometimes don't even recognize yourself. And now imagine being a teen and you're still exploring, finding your way in the world. But you have this illness that makes it, no matter what kind of illness, you're dealing with chronic fatigue or chronic pain. Because of your illness, you can't pursue the career you would really love. You might not even be able to go shopping with your friends because you just don't have the energy, because you need all the energy you have to function properly. And sometimes there's not even a chronic illness or being neurodiverse. Sometimes it's just, for whatever reason, your kid can suddenly have a depression, and it can hit you like a ton of bricks, and it sucks big time. And if you have a kid that is neurodiverse, know that if you have a kid that has autism or ADHD, they have not even a kid, but also adults have a way higher chance on getting a depression as well. And that's also understandable because they're constantly having this battle in their head, because the world functions on a different level than they do. So they're trying their best to understand, but even if they seemingly trying harder, they're not as fast enough, or they study their butts off, they still don't get A's like maybe their friends. Maybe they're struggling, and they look high functioning, and I kind of hate this term, high functioning autism. Sounds great. Actually, it makes it even worse because everybody thinks, you should just have to get your act together because, you seem totally normal. You were able to finish school. You were able, to get high grades in college. Yeah, that doesn't mean that it's easier inside their head. For instance, for Wonder Boy, it's really hard to deal with traffic. We live in the Netherlands, so lucky enough, he can cycle almost to everywhere. But it takes a lot of energy. In the fact that, when he comes home after a day of college or internship, but even as a kid, he needed an hour at least an hour at least of downtime, just to wind down and process his day. And can you imagine, that you're trying your best and it's never good enough, or it seems not good enough, or people make comments like, come on, you can do it, you just have to focus more, or do this better, or use a planner, and then your ADHD will be cured. And I wish it was that simple. But it's hard to witness your kids going through depression. And I won't go into specifics around my kids, but I can tell you, tips on for myself, but also for you as a mom and your children. But I think especially what you can do as a mom when you know your kid is going through a depression. And yes, I might go into more specifics into next episode. But if you think, suspect your kid has a depression, ways you can tell, of course, is that they lock themselves in their room. They don't want to go out anymore. They're constantly on their phone. And there's the big difference between constantly being on their phone and constantly being on their phone. There is a big difference, and you can notice it, that every moment they don't talk to you or don't interact, they're on their phone. It's like they're trying to numb their own thoughts with little videos, TikToks, YouTube videos, stories, podcasts, whatever. And the moment your kid can't handle silence anymore, is a big sign, because they're trying to numb the voices inside their own head. What can also be a good tip is that you ask them what kind of music they are listening to, because that can be a big clue as well. And don't judge them. Don't say, oh, maybe you should just put on a more happier tone, because it's not that easy. Maybe they try to this way, asking them about songs. They show a lot of vulnerability. Wow, Jesus, that's a hard word. Excuse my language. Yeah, they're really vulnerable, showing their emotions, because they're showing you a song that probably describes how they're feeling. Sometimes you just have to be there and sit and say, I'm so sorry you feel like this. And, if you're suspect, you can't force your kids into therapy. You can't do things like that. And it's really important that if, you're going to that next level and your kid is okay with it, that they find a match with their therapist. Because if there's no match, you do more damage than you do good. And you can really, really, it can have such a negative impact. So be really careful with that. But, then you have treatment, of course. Please, if you think this is going the wrong way, go talk to your GP, find a therapist. Maybe not only for your kid, but also for you as well. Because it's hard. It's hard as a parent. And things you can do, if you suspect your kid has depression, or, your kid is going through depression, are little things. And my kids through the years, dealing with their illnesses and everything. I know Supergirl once told me the thing she hated most when it was not going well physically with her body, that I would use this sweet little tone, checking in on her all the time. How are you feeling? How are you? And it would drive her nuts. So, depression aside, she said, Mom, even if I'm going through a lot of pain or whatever, I love it when you ask me, do you want to have a cup of tea because I'm taking a break from work? I hate it when you go into my room every other hour and with that sweet little voice ask me how I'm doing. It drives me bananas. Ask me, for a cup of tea. Go out for lunch together. Ask her to watch a series your kid likes. Things like that. Do some crafting together or go for a hike. Things like that. And of course there are all kinds of stages of depression and when it's really bad, it's hard. It can be hard to get your kids out of the room, but maybe it's then just have a high tea in their room, things like that. Disclaimer, this is just my experience. I'm not a medical professional, so please keep this in mind. This is just my experiences and what helped and what did not help. And well, what did not help a few years ago when it was really going not so well with Supergirl physically. The only thing I did was focus on her. And in the evening I tried to catch up with all my work. Having no downtime, but I didn't allow myself because the whole week was crammed with appointments and whatnot. And in the evening I tried to catch up. And because I didn't allow myself downtime, because I didn't think I was allowed, because I was in the car driving around with Supergirl, going to appointments and listening to the radio. But that's not downtime. That's not relaxing and recharging. And the big difference now is, especially when you have a week crammed with appointments and a lot of heavy stuff going on, those are the weeks you should have more relax and recharge time in your agenda for yourself and together with your kids. Because I noticed over the years, those times that I did take the time, I was way more resilient. And because of that, I could handle the heavy stuff better and was more present for my kids. So I think, that's one of the biggest tips and advices I can give you just from life experience. And like I said, please, if you think something is going on, talk to a GP, find a specialist or a therapist. I'm not a medical professional. This is just my experience. Being a special needs supermom for 19 years. And I realized, I always jokingly say supermom. But I had years that people thought, oh, Nadine, you can do everything and you're so strong. But I was so tired. And in the evening, I was like this zombie on the couch. So I looked really, really strong, but I was so tired in the evening. I was barely able to be truly present for my kids or my husband or even friends, because I only focused on the happiness of my kids. And that's, I think, the last thing I want to say for now. And then I will close this episode. I lost my train of thoughts. Such a heavy episode, but if you only focus on the heavy stuff and don't allow yourself to take a break, even if it's just, having a mask or sitting in a bath watching your favorite Netflix show, if you only, are on survivor mode, doing the things you think you should do, perfect looking house, driving your kids back and forth, in the evening trying to catch up with volunteer work or your work or whatever, and not having downtime, it doesn't make you a better mom or a better spouse or a better friend or a better you for yourself. And I think that's the most important one, that, I have a week coming up. Well, it started last week, but with shitloads of more appointments and things to arrange and figure out. And because of that, because that will cost a lot of energy. And because it will cost a lot of energy, I need more downtime. And So the laundry won't be perfectly done and folded. And maybe we'll eat sandwiches a few nights in the evening. We're in the Netherlands, we live on bread. We thrive on bread, so it will be okay. Having soup on crazy weeks like this, or pancakes in the evening, why not? Make sure you know, focus on the things that really matter. Your kids, yourself, your mental health. And if the mental health, you know, if your kid is already really struggling, it's even more important to, you know, let them see as well that it's not about the outer things. That it's not about having a dust-free household and keeping up appearances. It's showing them as well that in bad times, it's okay to take some time off. It's okay to wind down. It's time to snuggle up and do little things to recharge yourself by yourself, but also just be present for each other. And be present doesn't have to be talk and talk and talk. No, sometimes being present is just sitting together on the couch watching an old CSI episode or an NCIS episode. We like our NCIS and CSI episodes. Our dog is even called Deeks after a character of NCIS Los Angeles, and he really looks like that character. So having said that, I hope you have a good week ahead, and especially if you know you have a heavy week ahead with a lot of appointments or stuff going on that takes a lot of mental energy. Take time. Drop the things that are not important, like a perfect household, or you know, eating a proper meal every evening. Maybe this week, okay, you have 2 or 3 more times takeout. Who cares? Or you eat bread every day of the week and soup because you just don't have the time. If that results in, you know, recharging your energy a little bit more, having 15 minutes for yourself to take a break and have some time with your kid to snuggle up on the couch and build an indoor tent, or, well, we're talking teens, so maybe not an indoor tent, but they do love to do just sometimes hang out and watch a good movie or a Netflix show or whatever. So take care of yourself. That was really quick. Take care of yourself. Take the time to relax and thus recharge. And if you're struggling, you know, reach out. Let me know. There is a private Facebook group just for Special Needs Supermoms. You know, where you can cry and vent and laugh and share tips. And it's private just to protect my community. And you can find it on Facebook, and it's called Special Needs Supermoms. And you can recognize it on the mini-me doodles I use. And of course, you can also shoot me a direct message on Instagram or Facebook via the regular pages if you want to, if you need to. So take care of yourself, and I hope you have a good week. Bye.